Hi there, it's Monday the 23rd of November 2020. We're continuing to look at the life of Jesus, leading up to Christmas time, of course, when we celebrate Jesus' birth, as told through one of his friends, Mark, who wrote a life account of Jesus' ministry in the Gospel of Mark. And we're picking up the story in Mark chapter 3, verse 31, and it says this: Then Jesus' mother and brothers arrived. They arrived at the house in which Jesus was ministering to people. And standing outside, they sent someone in to call him. A crowd was sitting around him, and they told him, "Your mother and brothers are outside looking for you." "Who are my mother and brothers?" he asked. And then he looked at those seated in a circle around him and said, "Here are my mother and my brothers. Whoever does God's will is my brother and sister and mother." Every story we read about Jesus seems to be a surprising story. And how often does Jesus act and speak and behave in ways that we find surprising and different to how we think he should act and speak and behave? In fact, Jesus did that so often that the religious people just could not handle him. And of course, ultimately that led to Jesus being crucified. So here's a situation where Jesus' mother, his brothers and sisters are outside, and they call Jesus to come out of where he is, out of the house, out of his ministry, and come and speak to us. We don't know why they wanted him, but they had some purpose. And how interesting it is that Jesus does not respond to that. You know, for many people, in fact for most people, I think, if you asked them what the most important thing in their life was, they would probably answer, "My family." But Jesus was making a point here, and he was making the point that actually there is something even more important than family in life. There is something higher and greater than family. Now, Jesus is not saying, of course, that we should not love our family. Neither did Jesus not love his family. He loved his mother and his brothers and sisters. And even when he was hanging on the cross dying, he thought about his mum and how John should take care of her. So Jesus is not saying don't love your family, but he is saying that there is a priority in life, and there is a greater priority in life than even family, and that is God and his kingdom. That is the greatest priority, even greater than your family. In fact, Jesus said that the kingdom of God might take a sword to some families and separate families, because not all your family members might understand if you become a Christian, if you want to serve God and serve his kingdom and put his kingdom first, as we're called to do. That might cause conflict in your family, and if you have to try and appease your family and live for the kingdom of God, you can't do both. You have to choose one or other sometimes. And the kingdom of God must always come first. And sadly, that might mean some family members disowning you or not wanting to talk to you or having conflict with you because of that. But Jesus was so clear about his priorities in life, and it's another reason that I love Jesus and how he's just the best example of anybody to follow. He knew that the kingdom of God was most important to him, and he wasn't going to be dissuaded by anybody, even his family. He wasn't going to respond to their call, their summons. Perhaps they were going to summon him. In fact, in one of the other Gospels, it says that his family thought he was kind of out of his mind. In fact, I think it was earlier in Mark's Gospel, they said that. You're out of your mind. You're just doing too much. You're being too obsessive. You're prioritizing the kingdom of God too much. I mean, it's okay to believe in God, but don't take it to extremes. It's okay to have faith or to be a Christian, but don't take it to extremes. You've still got to be careful and balanced in life. And Jesus, his response by his words and by his actions were, no, on the contrary, give everything you have to the kingdom of God. Give your life to the kingdom of God. The kingdom of God is like a pearl in a field, and if you find it, you should sell all that you have to get it. You should give everything you have to the kingdom of God. Seek first God's kingdom and his righteousness, and all these other things, they'll be added to your life in the right way. So Jesus knew his priority in life, the kingdom of God. What a great example to follow. Speak to you again tomorrow. God bless.